much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You are the owner of a big Liberian company. So what is that company about?
Okay, so like you rightly said, my name is Gladys Freeman and I'm the owner of Liberia Pure Incorporated. So Liberia Pure Incorporated, we sell different products from honey, natural honey, 100% natural coconut oil, soaps. Yeah, a lot of coconut trees along the coast, especially in the southeastern part of Liberia. And each year, tons of coconut goes to waste. I decided to think out of the box. How can we limit the waste of coconuts each year? And then we said we can make a product out of the coconut instead of it going to waste. And they said, yeah, well, that's a brilliant idea. So we formed an NGO, it's called Universal Outreach Foundation. We work with them. They work with the farmers. They have a mini factory that they produce coconut oil, and the same as the honey, I make sure about every drop of coconut oil.
Wow, that's amazing.
So yes, right now we have a niche product that Liberians home and abroad are very proud of.
When you were small, was it your dream to one day have a big business, or how did you end up as a business owner?
Okay, so growing up as a kid, my dream was to become a medical doctor.
Wow.
Because I grew up with my uncle who had a lot of health issues, and every time he'll call me and teach me how to take his BP, his pressure, and do other stuff. So growing up taking care of him and other people in their home, my dream was to become a medical doctor. But then my uncle, who was the breadwinner at the time for the family, because I'm from a very humble background, that my parents cannot afford to send me to school, so I had to stay with this uncle. So this uncle sent me to school, and then when I graduated from high school, he passed out. So then my dream of becoming a medical doctor ended right there. So after high school, I started to look out, what can I do to follow my education, what can I do to get some sort of income. And then I learned how to bake.
Oh.
Yeah, from somebody, and then they taught me how to bake. I started baking cookies, different stores, and started selling this, sending myself to school, started facing candy, and then I got glued to business. I was like, oh, but this is good. You can make money out of this. So my business desire grew, and I really wanted to go into business. And when I started working with this organization called West Africa Initiative, they were at the time into beekeeping across the country. So when we were working with them, I noticed that a lot of beehives were being made, and a lot of farmers were into beekeeping. And if you check the grocery stores in Liberia, there were no local honey in the grocery stores. Liberia has 15 counties, but in 12 of those counties, I work with farmers that produce their own honey. And I make sure I buy every drop of honey that they produce. And the honey in 2018, we won an award. We took part in the UK honey show, and our honey came #1. So we have
#1?
Yes.
Wow. #1 honey from Liberia in an English honey show.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So what inspired me to do this was the strength from the farmers. Like the farmer makes so much honey, but they're selling the honey along the street, and there is no market for that. So then my partner and I, a business partner, his name is Cecil Wilson, we sat and we talk, how can we take this honey from the bush to the city, or just from the sidewalk to a bigger market angle? Because if you're buying huge quantity from the farmers, you also improve their livelihood, they'll get some sort of income and reliability or some sort of income. So we work around there, we did a research, got a loan from an organization that is called Universal Outreach Foundation that train farmers as well. They gave us a loan, and then we started our honey business. That's how I got into business.
So instead of becoming a medical doctor, now you sell products that are so good for the health
that
nobody needs a doctor anymore. And I think you also add flavors, right? It's not just, you don't just have honey, you also have honey with other tastes.
Yeah, so during the corona, there was an outbreak of the corona, so we were just trying to help, because corona is related to cold. Like people that have corona that we saw, they were coughing and other stuff. And in Liberia, in West Africa as a whole, if you have cold, you always want to take ginger, drink enough water. There are a lot of, natural remedy that you can use without using drugs sometimes. So with ginger, it's common in Liberia. So we started to think, how can we help with the corona? How can we help to fight this corona? So we thought it was that if you add ginger and honey, it helps. Maybe put in your tea, it helps to clear your throat. with all that cold and coffee and stuff, it try to minimize that. And
You
also,
are a doctor.
yes, like I said, I wanted to become a doctor, right? Yeah, so I said all of those things. So we came up with that with the product. We came up with ginger. We came up with garlic.
Wow.
Garlic is also good for the health. You know, if you have high blood pressure and if you eat a lot of garlic, my uncle was, like I said, he had high blood pressure. Every time we take his BP and he ate a lot of garlic at that time. So I thought it wise by putting some of the garlic in the honey for those who are suffering from this corona stuff. It could help, you know, to clear their throat, to boost their immunity and other stuff like that. So I came up with cinnamon, garlic, and ginger honey during the corona period. Just added hot pepper recently because a friend of mine traveled to Canada and he came. He brought hot pepper honey. I'm like, oh, hot pepper honey, how do we use this? So when I read on the internet, you can use it for different things, for wings, you know, just for cooking and other stuff. So we try and give out some, but people love it. So I started facing it too.
Who are your customers? Where are you selling?
Okay, so my customers are all in the grocery stores, all of the supermarkets, all of the hotels in Monrovia, and some individuals. Sometimes some expats that come into the country, they come and buy from us.
How normal or how usual is it to have a Liberian industry? For me, when I travel, like especially West Africa, I see it coming lately. Before it was all export, right? Products were exported, or like you said, they were not used. Like coconuts went to waste, or the farmers were just selling locally. They didn't think big, or they didn't have the possibilities. But now it is the first local-made products that really come and are floating the markets, right? So how common is that in Liberia to have a business? Like, how are the chances?
Okay, so for now, like in 2010, 2012, if you went to the grocery stores in Liberia, you won't find any product that will be like made in Liberia. Like everything has been imported. But now, I think they needed a role model. Most Liberians needed somebody to look up to say, oh, if this person can produce this, myself I can produce this and I can produce that. Because we have a lot of natural products here, and we oftentimes put our raw material together and just send it abroad and just sell it without producing or packaging here. So now we have so many companies, we have so many young people that are venturing into, you know, doing their own businesses. Like I said, we have this peanut butter company, we have the chocolate company, you have myself, you have people that are doing skincare products. So you have a lot of young Liberians, you know, that are traveling, and when they travel, they come back with those brilliant ideas. They want to do their own business. So it's common now in Liberia. Like most people want to just venture into business.
And as a woman in Liberia, how common is it to be a woman business owner?
Yes, like everything, life as a whole is a challenge. So it's not that common, it's not that easy. But my strength comes from the farmers. Like they have that resilience, they have that passion, they have the desire to produce. And what they are producing, it is my obligation, because I've made that commitment with them that if you produce everything I'm going to buy, and you know, to keep them financially stable, I have to buy all of their produce. So even if there are challenges, I have to find ways, you know, to overcome those challenges because of the sake of my farmers. Like my farmers come in the center of all of my decisions that I make. When I'm about to do this, I'm going to ask myself, how is it going to benefit the farmers? This thing I'm going to spend this money, is it going to benefit the farmers? Is money going to be there next year for me to buy honey from them, to buy coconut oil from them? Because because I encourage them to produce coconut oil, I encourage them to produce honey. So if they produce a quantity that I cannot buy, will discourage them. They will not want to buy. So because of that, my strength and inspiration comes from them. And I always look out for them. I always want the best for my farmers.
So what are your values in your business?
So we hold fast to honesty. Honesty is a big part of Liberian people. We have to be honest in everything that we do. Because, I mean, if you're not honest, where are we going? So we hold fast to that with our farmers and with our employees. We always tell them that honesty is big. And then respect for your co-workers is also one of our values that we hold fast to. We have so many things that we listed up here. Where is our value? Okay.
Where's the statement?
Clear, honesty, respect. 4, you have to communicate always. You have to trust one another, be accountable. We have to collaborate in hard work. So just put it up here.
That's so cool. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give.
So we have to give out.
So you're producing natural products. How do you make sure that the quality stays natural, and how do you make sure that it's a natural way of beekeeping, that they don't, I mean, there's a lot of harming bees, right? How do you make sure the products are natural and it's with the environment, not against the environment?
Okay, so like I said, I just work with the farmers, and then Universal Outreach Foundation is the one that train the farmers. So we have something we put in place called quality control, right? You're asking how do we make sure that the honey is natural? So we have our quality control. So each time we hire people to go and do the purchasing of the honey, we make sure we give them out of the list. This is what we need. The look of the honey, it should look a certain way like this. If it is not like this, you're not buying it. You have a certain taste. If it doesn't have that taste, we're not buying it. The water content, we have a refractometer that we test the water content. If it is not of a certain amount, we're not going to buy it. And also not to discourage the farmers, because in case the farmer have high water content and they have huge quantity of honey, so we also have this dehydrator. We buy their honey to encourage them. Yeah, because like I said, you see it, we make a life by what we give. So we want to give out, for them to help their children go to school, build decent homes, take care of themselves. So if they produce something that is not of our quality or of our standard, we make them. If it is the water content, we take that into consideration. Other than that, we don't buy the honey from them.
So what is your goal with that company? What is your goal?
Okay, so my goal is to become the #1 brand in Africa, the #1 honey producing company in Africa. So I'm working towards that, especially West Africa. So we want to build a niche that Liberians, home and abroad, can be proud of. That when they travel anywhere in the world, they hear the word, the name like European, whether it's the honey or the coconut. I just want to build a niche brand, and my desire a few years from now is to see my products in all of the grocery stores in West Africa. Yes, and I'm working towards that.
Beautiful goal.
Yeah.
How do you see your country? Like, I mean, Liberia has been through a lot, right? There was a lot of challenges towards your country. I guess when you grow up, life also wasn't that easy, right? So how do you see your country right now, and how do you see it in the future, Liberia in the future?
Okay, so now we are grateful that Liberia have braved the storm, because we went through so many challenges. First was the Civil War, and then after the Civil War, trying to put broken pieces together, then Ebola came in, and after Ebola, trying to gather all of the broken pieces again, then we had Corona step in. I mean, Liberia has been through a lot, but now where I see Liberia is standing firm, and it's on a gradual process of growth. So we are growing gradually, we are developing gradually with the stability of the peace. As long as you have peace, you can just do everything. So that's why we're pushing the message out there to our young people and everybody, our political parties and everyone. Let us keep the peace. With this peace being kept, because you can see from 2010 to present, with the peace, you have a lot of businesses. You have a lot of companies. You have a lot of young people who go out and learn and come back into want to implement what they have and learn outside there to bring it in to develop the country. So I see Liberia on a part of growth. It's growing, my country is growing.
Is the government giving you opportunities, or is it NGOs? Because you say there's an NGO for the training of the farmers, there's an NGO for like helping businesses to start, but that's NGO is not government, right?
Right.
So do you think that you would be here today at that point where you are with your company if there would not be NGOs involved?
So I think I would be on this path if there was no NGO. The NGO have played a pivotal role, they have played a bigger role, but the government also has played a role, right? So like the Liberia Chamber of Commerce, like the Liberia Business Association, so they host a lot of workshops, where you gain knowledge about your business management, other stuff like that. Even the U.S. Embassy have helped. So yes, the government has played a lot of roles in the growth of the business. Yeah.
What are you burning for in life? What makes you jump out of bed? And
Like I said, the farmers. My farmers. So when I wake up from bed, I think of my farmers. As I move, even with the sales, I think about the farmers. Everything I do, like I said, the farmers are at the center of everything that I do. Going in a rural area, seeing those people living, like, I don't know whether you've been in a rural area in Africa, the little mat houses, like people have demolished some of them. The people that are producing the honey, some of them have demolished and they have built a decent home. It makes me happy. And then when I see some of the farmers, their children are out of high school and they are able to send their children from the rural area to Monrovia, to the university, the highest learning area, it brings me joy. So that alone, every day, it keeps me on my feet. Like I just want a better, better life for them. More sales me, better life for my farmers. So the farmers got me on my feet.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
One last question, but maybe it's already the answer that you just gave. How do you overcome difficulties?
So I overcome difficulty by hope. You just have to be hopeful in life, because you're not just going to live life and don't expect challenges. Life as a whole is, somebody says, war. So you have to be ready to fight that war. So if you are not hopeful, you're going to break down, because at times maybe you have your containers at the port and there are certain taxes you're supposed to pay, you don't have that amount now. You have to get on your feet and be hopeful to look somewhere else to gather funds to go and get, what you want. So you have, life is war, you have to fight for what you want. That's what I can say to you. And hope got me going.
Thank you, beautiful fighter. You're very inspiring.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. I really found it amazing what you created here. And thanks for
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And I can say I tasted your products. They're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck with everything.
All right, thank you.